the Zealot. What are you expecting from this matchup?
I'm actually really excited to see this. I think PC Chris is going to stick with Falco most of the way through.
I went to MLG Anaheim with actually my girlfriend at the time and her friend, two people who knew nothing about the game. But we were there, the front row of the bleachers, cheering, and it was one of the few times when Melee has really felt like a real sport.
He wants to stay away from those platforms. He needs to control the bottom middle of the stage. Ooh, excellent forward smash from Ken, and he gets the first kill.
It was accessible to those who didn't know a lot about it. You didn't need to know all the technical terms, but it was a competition. It was a spectator sport.
There we go. PC gets the next kill, but he's in trouble. He's going to have to do something magical here to keep Ken from getting the next kill.
And that's when I really believed that Smash was going somewhere, that it was going to be big and important and mainstream, before it all crashed and burned.
I met them at this tournament in New Jersey. It was in this guy's house. This guy named Kip. He was just beating everyone. I'm like, who the heck is this Asian kid beating everyone like this? He was using Jigglypuff, and he would just do the same thing. He would just do back air, back air, back air, and then he would just beat everyone just like that. The funny thing is I used to always, like, how can I say? I used to beat people, but like beat them kind of like making them feel bad. So then when I fought him, like I would talk crap to him, like stop doing that stuff. And then like I would beat him. After that, he said, watch out for PC Chris. PC Chris is better than me. Like, oh, he is? He's better than me? I was like, so I gotta play this guy.
In high school, I had a group of friends, we used to skateboard. There was two Chris's and posed an immediate problem. I was just Portchester Chris, but like PC just stuck. When I made a gamer tag, I was just like, I don't want to be like Dark Evil Prince 955, like I'll just be PC Chris. We'd all be skateboarding at the same time after school. It was all I did for about basically 4 years, like as a hobby. And then eventually I really broke my thumb terribly badly. I fell while like downstairs and I tried to like break my fall, and the thumb got tucked down behind my hand. You can see how like if I line up the knuckles, that one's like clearly shorter. It kind of like scared me because I never hurt myself, and like I was in a cast. And it was in my right hand, so I couldn't like write in school for a while. I guess like I got tired of falling, so I was like, let's just play Smash. I remember the day that I wanted to get better. For the whole day I was like, okay, I'm gonna beat my friend, because at the time I just could not beat him 1 versus 1. So eventually I was like, well, maybe there's like videos of really good players, maybe we're doing something wrong. It was when Ken was first coming around. I couldn't even understand like what he was doing, because it was just like his character was moving so fast. But I just didn't know how it was possible. I didn't even try to aim for him because I was like, this guy's too good. I looked for like somebody more local, somebody I could play with, and Wes from DA was the first person that like I really saw who was really good like in New York.
PC Chris came once he heard about the gauntlets.
We started attending New York tournaments, New Jersey tournaments.
I would beat him, Kip, all of his friends.
Wes and all the DA guys definitely were beating us up for a while, but eventually we could climb the ranks a little more. You see yourself getting better, and like you start to understand the game more. Suddenly you're following up on these combos that a day ago they would just end, and like the game suddenly gets like 20 times better.
After a while we just started training with each other.
Eventually me and Wes started teaming, so just funny how that works.
With training from Wes, PC Chris slowly became one of the best Falcos in New York. He was even selected to represent his coast during the FC3 crew battle, and took 2 stocks from Isaiah before being knocked out.
I don't think so, Isaiah.
As 2005 came to a close, PC shocked many by placing 3rd in the MLG National Championships in New York, right behind Ken and Chudat. It was a sign that new blood was in the mix, and change was around the corner.
2006 opened up in New York too, so my goal was to place top 3 again.
The MLG opener 2006 was such a big deal because everyone knew how big MLG was now.
I knew it was going to be bigger, so I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to win, I'm going to win.
And Melee was starting to get huge. That might have been like the biggest year of Melee's growth was 06.
You know, I was winning the matches I felt I should win, and then like eventually came like the opponents that like I wasn't sure, like Chudat.
I actually told him a trick to use to get out of the chain grab as Fox, just because Chu was, you know, West Coast at that point, and I really didn't want to see Chu and Ken just split all the winnings as usual.
And I ended up beating Chu to have to fight Ken in the finals. I don't think I fought Ken up until this point, in tournament at least.
First matchup starts.
Okay, here we go.
Versus PC Chris. Ken has chosen Yoshi's Story as his first stage.
Okay, and let's take a look at who's playing here. We got PC Chris. PC Chris from New York, Port Chester, New York. That's where his name comes from. Versus Ken, who's the undisputed king of Smash. He has traveled around the world and proven no one's even come close to giving him a challenge. He's lost a few times in the past, but nothing serious. Yet PC Chris taking this set from him is huge. And if PC Chris were to win this tournament, it would mean so much for the Smash community. It would question what everybody thinks. PC Chris is a rising young star. 6 months ago, he was only semi-respected. A year ago, barely known. 2 years ago, not known at all. And here he is in the final championships, starting to take out Ken. So excited.
And commentary did not exist before MLG in any facet that I would deem noteworthy. But when MLG started doing commentary, it was very few people that wanted to do it. Again, unlike now, unfortunately, they just pass the mic around to anyone who's wandering by. I think that's very regrettable.
Lasers! Lasers! Ow!
If you ask me, but at MLG, it was M3D and JV3X3 and me and OmniGamer. Pretty much those are the only people that did it.
Looks like PC's got Ken in trouble here. Ken regains control of the bottom of the stage, and he's looking to continue to throw and combo PC to get that last kill.
Wow, and then, that's it.
Oh.
The tipper. Ken takes the first match. It's a lot about control with this game. It's about who's maintaining the momentum of the matchup. When it's going your way, you can just keep it going and get your kills. When you lose it, you're in trouble.
I just remember once I getting to grand finals, just wanting to play like really, really aggressive. So that was my strategy going in, just like being relentless with my laser approaching and like my nair approaching, and just always keeping him on the defensive. Because from what I've seen, he was always like dictating the match with Marth, like making sure the other person was, you know, always trying to, you know, catch their ground and recover and just like get away from him.
Ken really invented most of the techniques that you see Marth players use during tournament play. Ooh, PC doing an excellent job on the edge here to keep Ken off.
Ledge guard opportunity. Oh, he got passed.
Ken making an uncharacteristic mistake.
Oh, and that's going to do it. He can't get back from that. All right.
One mistake on that forward smash cost Ken that round.
My philosophy is like, you know, if you put pressure on anybody, they're going to crack eventually. Like, as long as it's like perfect pressure, you know, they'll mess up before you do, even though like what you're doing is harder maybe.
PC was just pulling out all kinds of new tricks that we hadn't seen before.
As long as like you apply it correctly, I feel like you can force like any good player to do something they don't want to do.
Oh my god, I don't know if people at home can hear you over the screaming of everyone. That ridiculous combo PC Chris just pulled off.
Oh.
And then, oh my god! Oh wow, okay. What we saw there, PC continuously did his attack that would have killed Ken, but he hit a perfect, what's called a ledge tech. Bounces off the ledge and is able to survive. Very difficult to do, especially with Marth.
It was really, really hype. I mean, since there were so many people, like a lot of people were watching, and you know, everyone got really into it. Wes was obviously talking a lot of smack.
Ken off the ledge. He needs to get back on. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was going to end right there, but both players are alive. PC Chris barely
with
alive.
the high
Great directional
ceiling,
influence.
PC survives that attack.
Both players are on their feet again. They hit each other. Oh my god.
The crowd goes
Ken flies off the
wild.
left side. Wow. Did not know where that was going.
Oh man, that crowd like ripped me a new one.
Again, you can hear that. I'm going to put the mic up to the audience.
You have someone screaming next to your face and stuff. It's kind of hard to concentrate and win.
It's now 5-3 in PC Chris's favor to finish out the best of 11. The crowd is going absolutely out of control, and we're even wondering if it's going to affect the player's gameplay, and then some more officials might have to step in, and Ken
Looks
is
like
going
he's
to
going
be
to get
it.
this one.
And Ken's going to take a match. It's just back and forth right here.
All right, PC just needs one more while Ken needs two.
He started noticing on certain stages his Marth just couldn't even do it. He'd switch to Fox.
Wow, and Ken with a character switch here, now he feels more comfortable playing Fox because of the level. In the close quarters here, it's going to be a lot of comboing.
That makes it a whole new ball game. Now you're dealing like with one of the fastest character, and he's running around.
Ken with those little hits, just keeping him away. he can't recover. Wow, Joe, this is the last match. He's pretty excited.
Came down to the last match too. Like the very last match was the second set.
Ken's hating every hit here because he needs to get the kill soon without racking too much damage. Every time he's hit, and with ledge guard opportunity, is he not going to make it? Oh my god, 3 stock to 1.
When anyone wins a match against Ken, you kind of say, okay, well, this is just one match of a set of 5, it doesn't matter. And very slowly you realize that history is in the making.
He needs to be careful on the ledge, above all. Careful on the ledge is what PC's got to be thinking. Oh, that's going to do it! The finals go to PC Chris, winner of the New York City season opener, overthrowing the King of Smash, Ken. That's it. $2,000 and a lot of glory for PC Chris. Congratulations.
I end up winning, which I couldn't believe it, like especially in front of like everybody, like all my New York homies had my back.
Just the fact that it was like this new like up and coming player, you know, it gave a lot of people like inspiration who were just starting to play Melee, like okay, this guy's still new and he just beat the best player.
An MLG guy came with like directly with like a microphone and camera, and like I was not expecting this, and he's like, you have anything to say to your fans out there? And I'm like thinking to myself, like I have no fans. There's cameras going off. Like I like to think of it as like, you know, a little revolution in New York Smash itself. We, you know, turned a page on something old, and now we moved on to bigger and better things. Winning like a national versus like the best player, like I was the first person to do that.
I would always beat Asin. When PC Chris beat me, it was just like gave the East Coast a new hope. They're like, oh, we can beat them.
The East Coast finally had their answer to Ken. The savvy new champion found instant fame, not only for his technical skills, but for being what few pro gamers had been before. Cool.
He's cool as shit. He's humble. Well, as humble as a guy that's that good at something could be.
Cigarettes, phone, wallet, money, keys. All right.
PC Chris was the most laid-back person I've met within the pro spectrum.
He's a very funny guy too. He like cracks jokes. He like trash talks all the time, like jokingly though.
They just can't handle me right now. Unlike those Coronas in the back, it's cold, baby. This is, you know, waiting for the party to happen. The party's already happened, my dude.
Well, some of the stories I might say might get PC Chris in trouble, so.
These are all my friends.
That must be how
I bust my ass all day. I'm hungover. It sucks.
every time I ask
See how good I can hide how miserable I really am to the customers.
Ken is a competitor, which I think is an important distinction among Smashers, and one that I've always preferred the competitor to the non-competitor. Your Chudats, your Ken, someone who will try to the last, which is why Chudat is one of my favorite players of all time, even though I've spent much of my life hating him. He does not give up. He can be down in a set and he keeps playing and he keeps playing and he keeps playing. He doesn't give up halfway through. And that's Ken. Ken wasn't someone who just stumbled upon the skill. Ken was someone who wanted to win.
White, we've got the winner's bracket final here, Ken versus PC.
Yeah.
You excited?
Really excited. Really excited. For those who don't know, Ken's been the reigning champ at this game for a long time. And East Coast, or any player for that matter, really hasn't been able to overthrow him. And then last event at MLG New York, PC Chris beat him and won the entire tournament.
Going into Dallas, you know, I obviously felt good about where I stood because, you know, I won the previous tournaments. I did well in the time between at the locals and things. So, like, by my knowledge, I was like, you know, let's go for a repeat.
For the first stage is Dreamland 64. Ken struck Corneria, so PC can either get that on random or pick it himself. And PC Chris struck Fountain of Dreams. Obviously a little bit worried about his short hop lasering there on that stage with the low platforms.
I knew Ken was practicing. I just didn't know, like, what he was going to do. I'm just going to still go with the, you know, this aggressive strategy because his strengths are when he's dictating the match, and when he's like avoiding me, like I could just play my game, and even like if I'm not playing my best, I think I could still beat him.
Now PC, the Falco, is going to try to get inside on the mark.
Nice double laser there from PC.
And Ken continuously pointing out the counter, which is that move where he puts his sword up, you just saw it again, and basically just takes the Falco's attack and shoots it back. Despite how cool it might sound, it's generally considered mostly a useless move, but for Ken to use it repeatedly on one of the best players in the country and 3-stock him it's impressive.
No one would use a Marth counter. That's like a forbidden move that you use Marth. But I used it against PC Chris, so every single time he would laser me, I'd counter and he'd jump in and get hit.
He, discovered that if I'm just mindlessly approaching him all the time, he can just, try to bait it and counter my approach with Marth's counter.
Ken has been known to reinvent the way to use new tactics and new techniques with Marth, so it looks like he's doing it again against PC.
The fact that Ken invented Marth, look at him go with that counter. I can't believe it.
Well, obviously, I knew what he was doing. I could see what's happening. It's happening to me, but telling yourself to avoid it and, telling your hands not to, it's one thing.
So you can't count unless you know you're going to get it off, but wow, but Ken obviously showing us that he knows when he can get it off. He says, don't worry, guys, I know.
It was brilliant to see. Even though I prefer PC Chris as a person and a teammate, I enjoy seeing Ken, the viciousness come out, and he did, and reigned him superior.
That's it. Ken wins for Ken.
Ken works his way back, hopefully silencing some critics in his mind.
He outplayed me, he beat me, exposed me. It was, definitely a downfall after winning New York. Suddenly, wow, was it just a fluke? Can I really hang with the top players, or am I just going to be that guy who's placing below them? Eventually, I just had to make a decision whether if I was just wanted to keep working and just do the normal life thing, work, school, or if I wanted to try, test this Smash thing out for Ron. And I was at the age I was like, why not? I was flying around everywhere, winning money, experiencing new places, new food, building new relationships with people.
She didn't even look like a smasher, She looked good, I'm not gonna lie, but you see guys flocking, I'm like, relax. Let her breathe,
I was like, hey, I play Smash. And of course, the general reaction came, a girl that plays Smash?
Always hard to break the ice. It's just so awkward. What can you possibly say to this stranger that's gonna make him feel like this guy's definitely not trying to hit on me right now? There's nothing.
What might even attract guys even more is that she's good at the game.
I somehow got introduced to her. I don't really remember how, friends from a friend, oh, PC is milk tea.
I was just amazed at his Falco and watching him, and I asked him for a photo.
We were at that age where we had enough similarities to date, and we're both attending these tournaments, why not?
We've definitely fought over Smash. He gets always mad at me because I always would hit him during teams, but I thought we were a pretty legitimate team.
We teamed at so many tournaments while we were dating, and we got so close to winning, but we come up short. The day we break up, we go to a tournament and we win. It's that's how you know. We're still friends to this day.
Buddies.
She was going into college and stuff like that, so less time for practicing, whereas I was just playing Melee. Everyone was like, oh, Ken just figured out this stuff, and now he's gonna beat PC Chris every time, so everybody knew about it, so I needed to figure out, something to do about that. Trying to adjust mid-match, that seemed to be my weakness. If there were certain players that just knew my style more, I had trouble against Azen too, and I feel like he's one of those players that just knows how I play. I knew I couldn't be completely defensive and just try to avoid the counter, because like I said, he'll be playing his matchup then, he'll be forcing me to make bad decisions. So it's the term I like to use is called hot cold. Sometimes run up and don't do anything, see what he does, but at the same time sometimes I would just approach him. So I was just trying to mix things up just so he couldn't always just be throwing out counter, and if he did, he'd get punished for it, and at least start to think about doing it. That's what I was trying to do going into Anaheim.
MLG Anaheim came out, the third tournament, and they had a really, really great showdown.
See this, I think PC Chris is going to stick with Falcon most of the way through. You'll probably see lots of traditional like spacing and stage selections though.
I was there as a spectator of front row of the bleachers, and there's cameras and there's lights and a stage, and absolutely the energy was there.
Local tournaments, you're used to playing at like a comic book store, like sandwiched in between some guy that's 300 pounds and some other guy, and you're like sweaty and you're just doing anything you can just to just stay on the TV and play matches. And then 2 years later, I'm suddenly on a stage.
The bottom middle of the stage. Ooh, excellent forward smash from Ken, and he gets the first kill.
Good read by PC Chris though. PC Chris is playing beautifully right now. He's managed to totally erase that stock deficit.
Well, I said he needed something magical, and he delivered.
Wow.
Wow. Excellent play from PC Chris. He's really taking it to Ken now. Oh, wow. Some of the production crew here, they're getting a chance to really watch Smash. They're realizing just how fast Smash players do things on their controllers. It takes a lot of skill to play this game at the level that you guys are watching it right now.
Came so close, down to the wire.
The last game, last match, last stock.
The West Coast crowd is going nuts. They're chanting, Cali, Cali, Cali. Ken is their hero right now. They need him to get this victory for the West Coast.
This is sort of a revenge match from back in New York where the East Coast crowd kind of tore Ken up.
PC playing really smart. Those cars are juggling PC for a lot of percentage there. This is exactly what Ken wants.
Oh, wow.
Morphing stage. Little ledge hop from PC turns it around. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it.
Oh, it was like all the butterflies in my stomach went out.
They hoist them up on their shoulders, and even though PC lost, it was still a great tournament experience.
Huge, like a sign of relief.
I didn't really care whether Ken or PC Chris won half as much as I cared that people were actually watching, because the Halo kids were watching and adults were watching and girls were watching, and that's the direction I wanted to go. I always wanted more from Melee. I didn't want it to stay as it was. I wanted to explode into something different. I wanted it to be like poker or NASCAR, where it garners this fan base that's a little bigger.
Even though like I didn't walk home with the win or the money, and like people were still saying, "Oh, Ken's better than PC," but like I knew inside that like I went there and I did what I wanted to do.
I long to tell you how I'm feeling. Is this real? Am I believing?
Just one tournament that's less known that I went to was a one in Hawaii.
Chasing shadows, never knowing
I went to Honolulu, got picked up by some smashers who just were excited to play me, and were like very excited that I was coming to Hawaii. But like, I'm excited to go to Hawaii. Like, thank you. Like, of course, like I'm gonna do that. Like, I tried to learn how to surf. Like the competitive, stubborn person I am. Like, it just took me so long to at least catch a wave and like start to like ride on the board, and then like the next day was trying to learn how to get up. And like at the time I was like, why am I doing this? But like at the end of the day, it was so fun, and like being able to leave stand up for a couple seconds was like totally worth like 10 hours in the water. I win the tournament, so I'm like paying for my trip, and it was just honestly the best time of my life probably. Like, I really enjoyed myself. Everyone in Hawaii, I mean, shout outs to all of them. They made me feel like a king. They didn't need to, but they did. I had a great time. They were all kind. Hopefully I can go back someday. Just like being on the beach, you know, got the beers, got some food, got some music, got some friends. It really doesn't get much better than that.
He understood the game like decently well, but you would never have guessed he was going to be one of the best players in the world at that point.
I landed one hit and got wrecked.
You have to factor in the money.
I was all kind of shaken up in my head. I didn't know what was going on.
Arguably the best player in the world at that time, and you're down 3-1 and about to lose a set.
It felt like it was a push to the end of the wall in the house.
We have here the epitome of MLG.
Like, his goal was first, period.
This is my dream.
Good. No laughing so far.
You did that on purpose.
Alright. So we're gonna have to talk about the double DDD theory. My friend has this theory that on Dreamland in Melee, there's a, you know, King DDD, he's floating in the background. He swore he's seen two at once, at the same time, like one in one corner and one in another. And ever since he's told me, like, whenever I play Tom in friendlies, like, I'll be on the prowl for that double DD. Like, I'll be Falcon, and I'll have him in this, like, favorable position, but, like, I can't see enough of the screen, so I'll run to the other side, just so, like, I can get the full view of the screen. He says this needs to be on the documentary. I swear he's taking a picture of it, and I told him if he finds it, then we'll have something to talk about in the community. Until then, it's just a theory. It's a theory. It's just a theory. The double DDD theory.